Hey guys, so today we're going to do this very popular hat for natural hair, big thick curly hair, and we're going to do it ourselves DIY style. And I'm so excited to show you guys how this works. And all of the materials, all of this costs under 15 bucks, like $13 and some change. So I'm so excited to show you guys. So these are the materials that I use. I just decided to put a freeze frame here so you can just screenshot it. So in case you're interested, you can just look at this picture and know what to get. So I got a hat, just a regular cap. You don't have to get a satin one if you don't want to. Some needles, a curved one and a straight one would be perfect. Some thread, white or black or whatever color, some elastic, scissors, and then the satin material if you choose to put the satin on the inside of the cap. So yeah, just take a picture of this, screenshot this if you want to recreate this. Hopefully you guys do. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click that bell to get notified of new uploads. Also, you're gonna need some pins, some push pins, just to hold your place while you're sewing. That's important. So when I went to Walmart, I did not expect to see a satin cap. So when I did, I grabbed it. Satin material is perfect for hair. It doesn't dry out your hair like most material does. It's just absolutely perfect. So the first thing that we're gonna do to the cap, we are going to cut the back of the cap off. We don't need the back is gonna get in the way. That's the biggest problem with caps and natural hair. So we're gonna cut that off and really measure and make sure that you're cutting enough off or not too much off for as far as your head shape and your head size. But I'm just cutting just like 2 panels off in the back. And also huge, do not cut the hem. Don't cut the hem. Leave some space and cut, but do not cut those hems because the hat will fall apart. And I only have 5 hems left, and that's perfect. Now this part is super optional. I just chose to do this just because I want it to be cohesive and you know, I'm extra. Anyway, I am going to sew some satin material on the inside of this cap just because it's just going to help nourish the hair while it's underneath this hat. You absolutely don't need to do this. You don't even need to get a satin cap if you want to. If you don't want to, you can just get a regular hat that you already have. But I'm just going to hand sew. I'm hand sewing everything, by the way. I'm gonna hand sew some of this satin material on the inside of this cap. And this is the longest part. This took me forever, but eventually it looked amazing once I finished. Look at that, so nice. This is only my 2nd time sewing, so thank the Lord. So now we're going to hem. This is one of the biggest parts. It just makes everything last longer and it just makes everything look cleaner. So I'm gonna pin where I want to hem the cap. And yeah, I'm gonna pin on both sides. Obviously we're gonna hem on both sides, so yeah. So now I have both sides pinned and I'm going to sew that down so everything looks cohesive, looks nice, looks clean, and it's gonna last the longest amount of time. Now for the edges, since those parts are so thick, I am going to sew the edge of that part. And I'm using a curved needle. If you do hair, if you sew hair, you make wigs, you know you have a curved needle, so this should be perfect for you. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm taking my time doing the loop through, like the stitch that you would do when you're doing wigs. Now I know a lot of you get scared when you saw that I was sewing in this video. Trust me, I would be the exact same way. I would click out of it, but I'm glad you stayed. This is only my 2nd time because I actually tried to do it first, and this is my 2nd time actually doing this project. So it's my 2nd time in all sewing, and I've never sewn before, and it actually turned out really nice. Both caps, I made 2 hats. Both hats are still together. They have not fallen apart, so don't lose hope. If you've never sewn before, ask your mom, ask your grandma, ask your brother. Sometimes, you know, ask anybody, or just YouTube how to sew a simple stitch, and you should be perfectly fine, because glue will ruin the material. Satin is such a sensitive material. It's a delicate material, so glue would stain and ruin this cap. Don't glue, just sew, okay? That's your best bet, and it's gonna last the longest and it's gonna look the nicest. So get it? So anyway, so like I said, now I'm just hemming the actual part of the cap, like the regular part of the hat. I am sewing on the closest to the edge of the cap, and that's just gonna make it look cohesive, and the stitch and the thread will be seen on the outside. So make sure you take your time and make sure everything, all the stitches are as straight as possible. If you mess up, it's string, you can cut it and redo it, you know, try again. Don't freak out if you know you mess up or something. It's not permanent, it's temporary, so you can try again if you choose to. But like I said, these stitches will be visible on the outside, so make sure you take your time and sew as close to the edge as possible. So here you are, all hemmed. It looks really, really crazy on the inside, but on the outside it looks really good. So next we're going to mess with this elastic. Now for the length of the elastic, I kind of just guesstimated when I first did it yesterday, and I just duplicated the length for this one. But when you are cutting your measuring and seeing how much you need, just measure your head, and less elastic is better than more. So that's a little tip I have. So like I said, if you mess up, it's no biggie to just cut the thread, or I didn't even sew it on yet, so it's no biggie to cut an actual piece that you need. So now that I cut the elastic, don't ask me how long it is. I did not have a ruler. We are not professionals. I'm gonna take the satin and I'm going to actually stretch the elastic out to measure how much satin I need to cover this elastic to make the scrunchie of the hat. That's the best way, that's the only way. And now I'm just, I cut it out and I flipped it on the back side of the material, not where the obvious satin is, but the back side, so I can sew it and have the stitches on that side. And after we sew this up, we're gonna flip it on the inside and the stitches will be hidden. So that's the reason why we're sewing. Look at those stitches, they're really nice, y'all. The Lord blessed me. And now I'm just gonna cut the excess material off, and then we're going to flip this inside out so the stitches will be hidden and the actual satin material will be on the outside, and that's what's gonna be touching your hair, the actual satin material. Ta-da, ta-da. That's so nice. I can't get over those stitching. The Lord literally sewed that for me because it's so nice. And we're just flipping this inside out. No big deal. So, okay, follow me. Listen to me, okay? The steps for this is to sew on the one side of the elastic, put the tube of satin over the elastic, and I'm just cutting the frayed ends because Lord have mercy, like I said, satin's delicate. Anyway, you sew on one side of the elastic, you feed over the satin material, as I'm doing right here, onto the elastic. You sew the other side of the elastic onto the hat, not attaching the material, that satin material at all, to the hat, not yet. So you're gonna sew the other side of the elastic to the other side of the hat, and then you're gonna sew the material, the satin material, the scrunchie material, on each side of the hat. So you're gonna sew the elastic on one side, put the satin over the elastic, so the other side of the elastic on the other side of the hat, and then sew the material on one side of the hat, and then sew the other side, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. And make sure you flip the frayed ends on the inside of that material so it looks cohesive when you're sewing that material onto the hat. Hopefully this makes sense, guys. That's pretty much it After I finished this, I just went over the hat, made sure everything was good. If there was, you know, extra material hanging off, I cut it off. For it ends, you know, strings, cut it off, and that's pretty much it. And the hat came out beautifully, even better than the first one, and I'll show you the first one. I'll add the black one a little bit later. It looks so nice, guys, and I tried it on. Obviously, you saw in the beginning of the video. It looks so nice. It feels nice, and I'm so thankful the Lord helped me with this project. If you guys like these types of videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up and let me know what you want to see from me next. I love you guys so much. Until next time, God bless.